recognition, making places sacred and holding space for us to transform as we dance with the spirals in life. To our spiral dance, and that's what we're going to be doing solstice. Going to be calling in the north with the words that the bear spirits brought me years ago in the dream time, and dancing with the turning of the sun and spiraling back to center with the sun and the time of year where we go inside and the ancestors from the north come and work with us and help us heal ancestral patterns, help us deepen our understanding and our soul experiences of our connection with all life around us. Some of it sleeping, some of it waking, some of it resting, some of it growing in ways we don't see, and the sun itself growing in the ways that we do see as the days get longer. It's always nice to see that, but the weather gets colder. Makes you wonder how the day gets longer and the sun gets brighter, and yet we feel the cold more for a while. It's all good. So that's the ways that I'm preparing for the solstice, and we're going to have a gathering of our council members, our Earthstock Council members, on the solstice at 3 Eastern time in the afternoon, and the gathering is just going to be focused on honoring the day, honoring the energy, turning of the sun, calling to the north, the ancestors, honoring our traditions, whatever they are. Our council members will bring their honoring traditions for this day and share them on Zoom. So I'm looking forward to gathering and celebrating the solstice with all of you. Always looking forward to gathering, but in particular, the time of the year, honoring the earth energies, the balance. Now we do the shortest day, the longest night. We say goodbye to the thunders until spring, till March, the equinox, and we say good night to the sleepy bears. And we don't sing the bear songs. We don't call to them in any way. That's the hard part. We don't call to them while they're sleeping. We don't want to wake them up because we don't want smelly, grumpy bears coming around, and we don't want them waking us up too much, that's for sure. So we honor sleepy time for the bears and the thunders and the little seeds that are in the ground, and we kind of become seeds ourselves, you know. We go underground and we go inward, and we gather our strength, and we germinate, and we do whatever we need to do. We do our winter work, and then we come out with our winter stories in the spring. So I'm really excited with all this year, and excited about honoring that day in this way together. So that's my walk right now in the moonlight and the new moon, and watching the dreams, always watching the dreams in the new moon. So they bring the resolution with the full moon, and we share the message of all of our dreamers who dream for the collective coming together. And we'll do that in the light of the full moon. So that's my walk at the moment, along with recovering daily from the hurricane in whatever way, whatever little thing I can do, realizing it's going to be a day at a time, and it's going to be whatever it needs to be until it's new. It's going to be new. It's going to be more sunlight. It's going to be different. And it'll be what it is. Osada, as it is. So at this time, I would like to invite another grandmother council member to share her walk in the moonlight. Becky Big Canoe, are you ready to do that?
Yeah, there's a bit of noise in my house here. That cat and dog are at it. They go at it sometimes. If you hear that, that's what's going on.
That's
Um,
great.
yes, it's a new moon, so it's very dark, and it's in the Archer, right? Sagittarius. Um, I don't really know. Uh, we've had a kind of like a monster snowstorm just to the north of us here this over the last couple of days, and like 400 tractor trailers, many animals on those tractor trailers, horses and cows, and people stranded in feet of snow on the highway. So they've closed off a big section. And tomorrow I drive about 3 or 4 hours to the east to Kingston to go to a conference with farmers. So they're all excited about the coming spring, of course. But like life is like, I don't know. I try to be optimistic and watch for signs, and I see a lot of signs. And I mean, a lot of people are seeing a lot of signs now. And well, I was just with Michael of Earthstock because he did a little recording of myself and my friend Adrian trying to give a brief, very brief explanation of the kinship way. And just these days when I watch the shenanigans going on with governments and all that worldwide, and the people just have had enough, looks to me like I think the day for the kinship way will come, but I have to be very patient, and I have to understand that it'll probably be my own people, the indigenous people, who will be most well, I really don't know how they're going to take such a proposal, even though I based it on our wisdom and tradition, but it has to be applicable to everyone. So that's where I'm at, trying to navigate through that minefield in my mind about how that could possibly work. But I have to trust in spirit and connecting with people's hearts that we are on the same earth, under the same moon, warmed by the same sun, so we're family. No matter how you slice it or how much we fight, we can get over that. We can learn new ways we can understand how giving and sharing and caring and diplomacy above all, and the use of truth and the kindness and sharing can transform everything. But we need a model that holds hands together to accomplish it. We can all do our individual work and we can all promote good ways of being, but strengthening ourselves in a literal way will help make these ideas spread far and wide in a coherent way. And eventually humanity will pick up only the best of all of these things and put them into practice for the well-being of our children, all of our children, who don't discriminate as much as us adults do. So I think with that, I think I kind of feel like I've been walking in the moonlight. So thank you, Grandmother Gail. Miigwech.
Thank you, Becky. Which is beautiful. Yeah, beautiful to reflect on all that. I just remember during the time after the hurricane when I was stuck and isolated and no food, water, and electricity, I kept thinking if Becky's kinship way was in place, there would be people who were aware of what I needed and how I lived and how they could help even if we couldn't speak without internet and without electricity. I would have those connections in place and everyone would know what they could do to help, which would be a tremendous help. Even in our neighborhood here, the two people that could walk a little ways, the roads were gone and landslides, and it was really hard to walk. The trees covered the ground, still do pretty much, but the roads are clear. But the two people who could manage to walk and get close enough to the houses to say, is everybody okay? What do you need? What can we do? If we'd had the kinship way in place already, we know what each other needed and we'd have a plan. We'd know how to help each other. And that would make a huge difference. It's surprising just how much difference something like that can make. So we're all going to help you, Becky. We're going to help you get that kinship way in place just as soon as everything shows up and we know what to do. We'll be walking with you. So at this time, I want to ask my Salapi brother, SD Young Wolf, to join us in his walk in the moonlight in this new time and share whatever he would like to. You need to unmute. SD, can you do that?
Okay, I do. Well, I feel like I'm really settling in for the winter. But what's happened with me is having to do with ancestors the last few days because I discovered this book called The White Savage. And it's written about a man who was very close with my ancestor. He was a white man who had been captured as a child by the Kickapoo. And then with the Osage, he grew up to be an Osage warrior. And it's an interesting life story that he left the tribe when they were going to war with the whites because he didn't feel about fighting white people because of his white skin. And he went back to white civilization and he became very educated and he even went to England. And he came back and he dedicated the rest of his life to traveling around and visiting with different tribes and teaching them and educating them about the changes that were coming as the as the white people were sweeping across the frontier. And he met with my ancestor, who's a Cherokee chief. So I'm reading this story where he speaks of my ancestor, and even open the book, and the first the dedication is, this book is dedicated to the children of Tecumseh and of Richard Fields. So it's that was nice because he's talking about me, and so I like making that connection and learning about the ones that came before, that kind of paved the way, because I feel like he's influenced my life a lot. So I'm learning about that right now, and I'm preparing my house for my kittens. It's like that I had that dream where I was given 2 kittens, and then I said, well, I'll go to the shelter. And there was one kitten that really appealed to me, and I decided to take it. But this other one also appealed to me, and I remember the dream said 2. So I guess I'm taking them both, but it'll be another week or so before I can have them. So I'm cat proofing my house.
And what does that look like, FD? How do you do that?
Well, I have like an altar with lots of little things, and cats will have a lot of fun with that. But they'll make a real mess. So I'm moving things around.
Let's see. Yeah.
And,
Here's a
and
little cat, Lily, joining us to say
I
hello.
hope I can connect somehow to have a sweat lodge on or around the solstice.
Ah, beautiful. Yeah. For years, maybe a decade, I was able to do a solstice Inipi ceremony, and
Mm,
don't think it'll happen this year. Too much firewood all around on the ground everywhere, and we haven't
mm,
even been able to clear the trees around the lodge yet, but the lodge is there. It's
mm,
beautiful to do ceremony on the earth energy days, especially the turning days. There's so much energy in the
mhm.
turning. Yeah, you have any experiences of those times that you'd like to share, or stories of those times, ceremonies?
Were you asking me that?
Yeah,
If stories about what?
your ceremonies that were done on the solstice.
Oh, okay. Um, I have a great equinox story, but not a solstice story.
Uh,
There's a Cherokee equinox story that I tell at time of equinox, but I don't have any specifically um, solstice stories, but just stories around uh, not Christmas per se, but Christmas spirit. Um, yeah. So, okay, well, I could tell a story like that.
do you have any songs? Are there any solstice songs coming to mind, or
Songs?
traditions? Yeah.
Hmm, not really.
Mm-mm. Maybe we need to write a solstice song.
Hmm.
Let's tell your equinox story, SD, since we
The
did the
equinox story?
equinox just a month and a half ago. That's in
Okay.
preparation for the solstice.
Well, This is a Cherokee story that
Yeah.
in the beginning, the way the Creator made the world is there was day and night, but they were of equal length, equal day, equal night, balanced. But that changed. And the reason it changed was the people didn't like the nighttime because they would bump into things and lose things and couldn't find them and bump into each other. And they all had a meeting. They said, this isn't good. We don't need this night, this darkness. Let's pray to Creator. Change that. So they came together and they sang and they prayed and they sent a prayer. And the Creator spoke with them. And they told him they wanted the day and night to be the same, or to be have the night to be gone and have it to be day all the time. So Creator said, okay, well, if that's the way you want, that's the way it will be. And so then there was no night. But as time went on and they got hotter and hotter and hotter, and people were really uncomfortable. It's like they'd have no energy. They couldn't deal with all this heat until they couldn't bear it anymore. And they came back together and they said, Creator, we're sorry. We asked to take away the night. We realize now how important the night is, and so we want it to be night all the time. so Creator said, okay, well, that's the way you want it. And then they were so relieved to be free of all that heat and have the coolness that the night brought with it. But as time went on, it got colder and colder and colder, and everyone was freezing. And so again, they came together and they said, "Oh, we're sorry. We were wrong. We were wrong. I think it's okay the way it was." They wanted it back the way it was. So the Creator said, "Okay, well, it can't be the way it was before, when the night and the day were equal. But what I'll do is that now there's going to be day and night, but there will be times when there's much more night and times much more day, and so that's why now we have solstices because of that. In the beginning, all was equal." I said, "But because of what you did, you did a lot of harm, because there were people that died in the heat that came and in the cold of the night that came when things were out of balance. So now, one day a year only, or twice a year, it will be equal day and equal night." And so it was in balance once again. So, but because of the way it was before, a lot of people died in that from the heat and then from the cold. And I'm going to put those spirits into the cedar tree. And that cedar tree in the middle will have that red that will represent the blood of those people in the middle of the cedar tree. And you can burn and pray with those cedar needles. And it will be a blessing for you. And remember your ancestors, and remember the hard times that you had because of your ignorance. Remember that, and remember to be humble and to pray with a pure heart. That's all.
Mm. Thank you, FD. That's a beautiful story and a beautiful reminder. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we can't stay in balance all the time, but we can come back to it when we notice we're out of balance.
Yes.
We have those choices. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And we can't stay in the same river all the time. It's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a different river every time we have a different experience. You know, our life can't go back, can't erase those experiences and those choices that we made along the way. That's a beautiful story for the solstice. But you got a song for us, FD. What song's coming up for you?
I'm sorry, what?
Any songs coming up for you? You got a
Oh, I
song
could
for
sing a
us?
song if you like.
Mm. Thank you, FD. Will you tell us about that song?
It's a welcoming song. It's I sang that song to invite, and can invite people or invite spirits with it, welcoming them in, especially those spirits that will help us and bless us.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, we especially need to build our relationship with those helpful spirits who've done their work when we are
Yes.
in the winter time doing our work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They've been there so they can help us the most. All of us who are still working, that includes all of our ancestors who are still doing their work, because we have to reach way back to find the ones that have done their work. You know, we have to really go back to the beginning of this wave of humans where we all share ancestors, because we're all obviously part of this wave of humans, and there have been so many waves of humans before us, that it's good for us to be reminded of that and to reach back to those who came in first and and did their work before all the wounding took place that we're aware of, and help us return to those ways that we brought here on earth. You know, the ways that the plains people brought first, the ways of the sun, which is again, you know, what the solstice is about, the turning of the sun. And then The Woodlands people, our people, came on the East Coast. The East Coast Native True Red race came to bring the ways of the moon and to bring that balance that the story you told speaks of, balancing sun and moon and plains and East Coast and the land, indigenous is people of the land. So it's great to be reminded that we need those helpful spirits who've done their work to join all of us and help us do our work according to the ways we came in with, the original ways, the original spirituality that we brought in. It didn't include any religions or governments or this experiment we're participating in called civilization. And agriculture and all that is an experiment. It's an ongoing experiment that might not be going so well at times. So it's really good to have that guidance from those who've done the work and can help us along the way.
Yeah, but balance is very important to live your life in balance. And I think civilizations fail when they lose the balance, and sickness comes from imbalance. The Diné people who live out here where I live, there are many Diné, or Navajo. And whenever they heal a sickness, do a sand painting ceremony, which is designed to put the patient back in balance. And they use symbols and colors representing all the creation, all the cosmic forces, to put it back into balance. And when boys go off and they join the military and they're gone and they come back, when they come back, they bring them in to that Hogan and they do that ceremony to restore balance.
Yeah, that is so needed. These are the ways that we came in with and the ways that we really need to be able to share and return to. Even when we just go on a journey, when we drive across the country or drive some distance or get on an airplane, we like to bring people back into a Nipi sweat lodge ceremony and dust them off and bring them back to balance. And there's a lot of opportunities to just bring our attention to coming into balance and trying to be in balance in a good way. Becky, are you still with us? I'm wondering if you might ask your friend there who does the Anishinaabe Sweat Lodge ceremonies if he would like to talk with us about how that ceremony creates balance or what it's about or anything about that you would like to share.
Yeah, well, maybe for the next time I can ask him. I have
Instead
to.
of putting him on the spot and surprising him.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
He took my dog for a walk today. They went deep in the bush and they saw a really big deer. And I was thinking earlier when I was talking about the time of the archer, in the sky. Um, I had bought these bows for the kids, and he took the time to show my granddaughter how to actually string that, knock that arrow on the bow and shoot. And so she spent the next hour just shooting over and over again that one arrow because we only have one, and really feeling all of a sudden strong and confident in herself because she practiced and she could do it now, you know? And I thought, you know, when we can give those little skills to the kids and they can become proficient at it and then they have that confidence in themselves. And he teaches her our language. He's a very good language teacher. So and he saw that deer today and he was like, boy, if I had that bow and arrow, I could have got that. And I thought, well, that would really put meat in our freezer for the winter, and that's what we need to do right now. And yeah, so we're thinking in those old ways, you know, and I like that. I think that it really helps me ground myself. You know, it's like as the sun begins to grow again in our awareness and it takes up more of the day. Um, these ideas are like those seeds you were talking about. These feelings are seeds, these knowledges are seeds, and they'll grow. And I really feel like that's starting to be born in a lot of people. Like maybe they're not even aware of it yet, but just those thoughts about how we used to take care of ourselves in such a good way, like as Steve was saying, like to maintain that balance. And you know, I've become very aware of how effective our food is on our well-being by cutting out all the sugars and the seed oils and the polluted grains and the over modified vegetables and fruit. So to me, I'm really discerning now of the meat and the fat, like the protein and the bone and the everything that we're living animals. So if we are what we eat, we need to eat living animal, like, you know, animals. So, and that's just not prevalent in the world anymore, really. People believe in veganism and vegetarianism to a very strong degree. And, you know, there's just another divisionary thing, but I really believe in that sinew and that muscle and that blood and that bone. So,
Mhm.
you know, that Anishinaabe spirit's being reborn in me right now.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been vegetarian for over 35 years. And I don't even recognize that as food. I remember one of my dogs picked up a sandwich when we were on a walk, and I was looking at it like, what in the world is that? You know, and somebody had to tell me what it was, that it was flesh. And of course, the dogs need it, but I don't.
Mm. Well, it sure has helped
But
me a lot.
everybody makes their choice for their body. So it's good to be able to make those choices and to have lots of good food to
Yeah.
choose from, whatever it is. Yeah.
The first thing we give thanks for every meal we sit down to, we give a little portion to our ancestors and say a little
Yeah,
prayer.
talk about that spirit plate that we do. That's an
Yeah,
important
yeah,
thing to share. Yeah.
yeah. We're thinking of going to a feast for the ancestors next Saturday, and I'm told that in this particular way and lodge, bring enough food for yourself, but and bring a little extra to share, but don't bring too much because once we sit down to that feast, we're obliged to eat every last bit of it on behalf of the ancestors. And so it like it means be grateful and don't waste and remember that the ancestors lived that way. And then in our daily meals, we have a little dish and a little tiny copper cup for water that we replenish with every meal so that, you know, our ancestors can come and take part in our meal with us. And I've, really recently begin to reconnect with that, how important that is to feed them.
Mm.
Something they did for their ancestors, and we hope that you know, a reminder like that is a part of our daily lives in the future, that we keep a connection all the way back, because we know it was broken brutally, and it's up to us to reestablish it and make it strong again.
Right. I feel like that's important too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Becky. That's a good reminder. And of course, up there where you are, you've gathered the rice by this time of the year, right?
Right. Yes. I've had
And
some
you've
of that.
parched it. Do you
Yeah.
parch it over the open fire?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that a cedar fire? It makes it so delicious.
Well, you gotta, yeah, use hardwood. You want to make it nice and hot, and we use a cast iron kettle or something like that, that you use a paddle and keep it spinning around in there so it doesn't get burned. And then after that, it goes into the dancing phase. Everybody puts on special moccasins that are only used for that and dances on the rice. So what we need now are some songs. We need to recreate some songs for that part. And then you do the winnowing, so all the chaff blows away, and then you've got your rice ready for putting away for the winter or whenever we want to cook it. It's super delicious. It goes with everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Steve. Okay, I think my signal's back and hopefully it'll stay with us. And we'll open up for questions, comments, conversation, discussion. Anything anybody would like to share at this time? We've got about 10 more minutes.
Were you intending, you wanted to have a Zoom on the solstice, which is 21st December?
Yeah, we're gonna have an Earthstock Council Zoom on the 21st at 3 Eastern Time, noon California time, Pacific time, and I guess 1 Mountain time. And I don't
Okay.
know if it's gonna be 1 hour or 2 hours. I was hoping Michael might join us and tell us the details. I'm not very good at
Okay.
catching the details. But we will be sharing on the solstice and focusing on honoring the earth energies and the earth time and the sun time and honoring the solstice ways. I'll be calling in the north and offering the spiral back to center dance. And I don't know, I'm not sure what everybody else is going to be offering, but I'm hoping we'll all be able to share our solstice traditions together in that way. On the 21st, it's Saturday, I think.